What's up, Pokemon Go family? It is your boy, the Ghoul Guy, back at you guys yet again with another video, and today we are going to be looking at the Master League in the new season, basically using White Kyurem for the first time on this channel, basically showcasing White Kyurem, how strong it is in the meta, which, I mean, it's freaking amazing, especially the fact that I even have like a couple of them, which is nice, but yeah, without further ado, let's show off the IVs, and let's show off the moves that we have, and also the team. Let's go. Alright, now first and foremost, we have our Hundo freaking Ho-Oh here. I just recently caught that from the actual Shadow raid event, which hopefully they actually bring that back, where you actually were able to remote raid Shadow Ho-Ohs. That was just freaking amazing. Hopefully, well, not Niantic anymore, Scopely, please bring it back. But anyways, we have our Hundo Ho-Oh here. I maxed it all the way out. We got Incinerate, Sacred Fire, and as well as Brave Bird, pretty much standard moveset for this Pokemon here. And then of course we also have our Kyurem, our White Kyurem. It's a 98% Kyurem with the with the actual I would say New York, with the LA background, which is freaking dope, freaking awesome. But here's the IVs here: 98, 15 attack, which is awesome. We got the Ice Fang, Ice Burn, as well as Fusion Flare, pretty standard moveset for the Master League, of course. And as well, we also have our Dusk main. Pretty much this is going to be our switch, essentially, if we ever get into situations with the Ho-Oh in the beginning here. But we got our New York Dusk main here with the New York background, which is freaking awesome. It's a 98%, fully maxed out and everything like that. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the 15 attack, but that is fine. It's still a 98, which is freaking sweet. We got Shadow Claw, Iron Head, and as well as Outrage. Now, you might be wondering, where's the Sunsteel Strike? Essentially, I looked this up. Apparently, you can still get Sunsteel Strike on on the Dusk main. You just have to refuse it, and luckily I have enough fusion energy to where if I wanted to, I can always bring it back. Sunsteel Strike, a really strong steel move, especially for raids and everything like that. You can take it off, but you do have to refuse it to actually get that move set back. So definitely you are at risk of not being able to get that back if you do not have enough fusion energy to actually get that back. But right now we have Iron Head as well as Outrage. I played this team for a while and just kind of seeing what kind of works for me or whatnot. Apparently Iron Head is just a quicker move, essentially, to get, especially for, you know, Rhyperior that's out here right now, and as well as, you know, all the Kyurems that essentially are part ice types. Iron Head works phenomenally. Sunsteel Strike, it just took me a while to actually get to, so that's why I switched it to Iron Head. And as well as we have Outrage for essentially other dragon coverage, which is very nice. So essentially, if I remember going up against like a Dialga or something like that, that's also like a part steel type, essentially I'll be able to wall it for the most part and also be able to get Outrage off, which is going to be very nice. But that is the reason for those movesets on the Dusk main. But yes, without further ado, let's get into the battles. Let's go. But yes, my elo has took a major hit trying to actually basically like do these Master League games. As I said, I'm not really super familiar with the actual Master League meta. I'm trying to get used to it as I go. That's pretty much why it's this way. So I had to build it back up right after this. But anyway, we got the Ho-Oh versus the Yveltal here. Pretty much what I'm going to try to do is just get to a Sacred Fire. And I was thinking in my head, do I just let it go? And I think I am going to just let this go. I'm not sure what exactly. Okay, so it's going to be a Dark Pulse here. Okay, so that's another thing. Not super familiar with the movesets of a lot of Master League Pokemon. Well, a couple of Master League Pokemon, so that's the thing. But I knew I was definitely going to be able to take a hit, which was the Dark Pulse, which is nice. We are going to be able to get off a Sacred Fire, which we do end up getting the shield. They switch into a Kyogre. Obviously, not the best for me, but we are going to just use a Brave Bird, see if we can get another shield off. Can we get another shield so we can just basically open the way for the Kyurem in the back? And we do end up getting another shield. So they are shieldless here, which is very nice. And pretty much we have the Kyurem, and as well we have the I don't know why I was blanking on that. We have the Necrozma in the back. Pretty much we're just going to switch into the Kyurem, just because I know Kyurem is going to be able to take a Surf and as well Hydro, you know, Hydro Cannon. I know Kyurem, I know Kyogre doesn't have Hydro Cannon, but it's going to be able to take a Surf. It's going to be able to take electric type moves. Essentially, I pretty much wall majority of the moves from the Kyogre, which is very much fine. Basically, we are just going to use Ice Burn here, do as much damage as possible. Fusion Flare, like, is also a very strong move, but I knew it wasn't going to do that much damage. Pretty much still saving our shields here, and they're going to be, they're going to be getting off a Surf here. Basically taking us to the red, which is very unfortunate because we could not get to the Fusion Flare. I probably should have just used at least one more shield to at least get to the Fusion Flare, but unfortunately I was not able to get to there. So basically we have the Necrozma, the Dustmane Necrozma, basically to take the rest of the game here. Let's see what ends up happening. They basically hit us with the Dark Pulse, and we are going to be able to get to the Outrage. Outrage should be enough to actually end up taking out the Yveltal. Let's see what actually happens here. Boom. Yeah, okay, so yeah, they were already very low in health, which is very nice. And pretty much this is the actual this is the game that we actually want to be in, essentially, because essentially with Dialga typically only has Iron Head and as well as Dragon type moves, where essentially I wall both of those moves, but we are still going to be using a shield on the Iron Head regardless, so we just don't get low on energy, or low on health anyway, and we end up using the Outrage. Outrage ends up taking majority of the health, and we are going to be able to farm down the rest of the way with the Shadow Claws. Let's go. But yes, that is why I have Outrage on Dustmane, man. It is a really good dragon alternative. I know it's not like actually a dragon and also doesn't have stab, but it's actually really nice that I can rely on it if you know, obviously the Kyurem ever goes down, you know, just in case if I do need extra dragon coverage. But of course you can always probably use Dialga as an alternative. Dialga is pretty good Pokemon as well. I think I only have a 96 of it, 96% of it anyway. I don't have a Hundo yet. I am building the 96, but I would rather have the Hundo, just because, you know, of course the CP level, yeah, I am currently trying to just build the 96 up, so that's why I am not using it right now, and I'm using the Dustmane, which works very good as an alternative actually. But anyway, we got the Ho-Oh versus Ho-Oh, and unfortunately my opponent here apparently did not want a Ho-Oh on Ho-Oh fight, and so they just end up quitting the game, or they had something else to do. I'm not sure, but anyway, we're moving on to the next one. Let's go. I needed it anyway. I'm super low. I basically got to start from the very beginning of Ace, which is horrible for me, but we are going to make our way back up eventually here. Anyway, alright, we got Ho-Oh versus Dustmane Necrozma, basically where we want to see it, just because Incinerate is going to be doing super effective damage onto the Necrozma, which is very nice. They end up switching into the Palkia. We are going to be getting off a Brave Bird here, just so we can get shields, or we can get some damage off onto the Palkia. Okay, we end up getting a shield, which is very nice. We switch into our Necrozma here. Basically, Dragon Breath not going to do that much damage, which is going to be very nice, and they're basically going to be hitting us with the Aqua Tails. Aqua Tails are going to be hitting neutral, but essentially not going to do, well, I mean, it can spam the move, but essentially we don't have to shield at least. That's the main thing. We at least don't want to shield, and essentially we do get to the Outrage, and Outrage ends up KOing the Palkia, bro. Let's go. Love that we have Outrage on this Pokemon. Love to see it. Basically, we're going to try to get to another Outrage and use it onto the Dustmane Necrozma. Their Dustmane Necrozma anyway. Does this Outrage hit, or do they use another shield? Let's see. They end up using, I believe, their last shield. So basically, we're just gonna let this end up, or we're just gonna let this go. Actually, that's not their last shield. That's their first shield. Yeah, I'm paying attention now. All right, look, that was their first shield. So I believe they have one more shield left. So pretty much, we end up bringing back the Ho-Oh. Just wanted to basically wait for the timers. So just in case they switch, I can switch out. And essentially, we're just gonna use a shield here on the Dark Pulse. I probably could have just took the Dark Pulse. I didn't want to take the Sunsteel Strike. I know Sunsteel Strike is, of course, resistant, or even Outrage. It could also have Outrage, but I didn't want to take the Sunsteel Strike just in case. They end up switching. I didn't even see what Pokemon they. Yeah, okay. They end up switching into the Kyurem, taking a super effective charge move. We end up switching into our Kyurem, which is pretty much just going to wall their their fusion bolt if they end up using it, and we end up just farming it down. And yeah, you can see how much Kyurem was able to just even take out another Kyurem instantly, which was just amazing. Of course, obviously the the Sacred Fire, of course, did majority of the damage, but Kyurem basically sweeping in the back, which is very nice. Love to see it. Yeah, I did play some of these matches in New York. Oh, well, not New York, in LA. Essentially, when I actually did build my my Shundo, actually Shundo Kyurem Black, but a lot of people didn't have Kyurem back in that time. So essentially, I didn't really want to showcase those videos just because it's just unfair. Of course, you know, you just have this like very strong Pokemon, and nobody else has this strong Pokemon. Like, why would I, you know, why would I showcase those videos? This is just pointless at this point. But anyway, we got Ho-Oh versus the Kyurem here. I knew they were going to get to the Fusion Bolt before I was able to, which is very unfortunate, because with the Shadow Claws, they are able to outpace me, like in comparison to my Incinerate here. But we are going to be able to get to the Brave Bird onto the Palkia, which is going to be very nice. And pretty much what we're going to try to do here is just farm down the rest of this Palkia so we come out with energy. That is the main goal for this right now. Aqua Tail, as I said, already doing neutral damage, but the Palkia is going to be able to spam it out, which is going to be very unfortunate for me. But I am going to be able to at least survive an Aqua Tail. Yeah, another one anyway. And we come out with a whole bunch of energy. Now let's see what they end up coming out with at the very end here. And it is... yeah, it ended up being another Necrozma. Now, I meant to throw the actual, the Outrage here, but I was just like, I was trying to just hit whatever I could fast. But luckily, they ended up shielding anyway, and we are going to be able to get to another charge move, which is awesome. And it was another Iron Head. But yeah, essentially, at least we were able to get a shield and get a little bit of damage off onto the Necrozma, which is very nice. And we are going to be able to switch back into the Ho-Oh, which is also very cool. Basically, we do get to the Sacred Fire here, which is going to be very nice because they switch back into their Kyurem. And let's see if they end up taking it. They don't, which is awesome. And basically, rinse and repeat here. We're going to bring back into our Kyurem White and essentially whittle away their health here. I'm thinking, do I use a shield here? Do I not? I end up using a shield just because Free Shock still does a whole bunch of damage to me. So yeah, I just ended up just using a shield. Why not just use a shield while it's there? Because I knew he was building up to that Free Shock. Free Shock still does a whole bunch of damage to me. They're going to get to a Fusion Bolt, which is going to do non-effective damage to me at all. And I come out with a whole bunch of energy. They pretty much bring out the Necrozma. We already have Fusion Flare, and that's going to be super effective against this Pokemon here. Let's see if it connects. Boom, it does, and ends up KOing the Dustmane Necrozma. Nice shiny flex as well on my opponent. Really awesome. Really, really dope. Really dope. But yeah, man, you know, I had to like really find my my rhythm when it comes to teams. I've noticed that, like, you know, like once you actually find a team that you really like and you want to build, you really have to like find out what really works with the team, like how to utilize the team, what you should shield, what you shouldn't shield. That's one of the things I'm really trying to get in, trying to work in, and then also too, in just in terms of like counting moves. That's another thing. I'm really trying to get into counting moves. Now with this game here, I kept getting baited in my past games, so I was just like, I'm not gonna like basically shield and basically take this bait. I'm not gonna take this bait, and they end up using a Rock Wrecker on my Ho-Oh, obviously KOing it instantly, which is insane, horrible for me here. But we end up switching into the Kyurem, which is gonna do super effective damage with the Ice Fangs. Essentially, we're going to have to invest into a shield just because I didn't want to get hit with the Rock Wrecker. Now, they could have a Rock Wrecker here as well, but thankfully, they only had the Breaking Swipe, which is very nice for me. We are going to be able to save at least one shield, which is very nice. And let's see what they end up having in the back here. I would assume it's a counter to the Kyurem. So yeah, so we basically end up switching into the Dustmane Necrozma, and then they bring in a Veltal. Basically, we're just going to use the Outrage here, see if we can at least get a shield off. I probably could have just baited with the Iron Head potentially. Yeah, that's another thing. I need to get better at baiting in the Master League. Since everything has like such a huge health pool, I typically just don't bait, you know? So yeah, like unlike of course like Great League, where essentially like the smallest things can end up taking out yeah, the smallest things could end up like taking out a Pokemon. I'm just not used to like the Master League health pool, you know, of course. We do get to the Fusion Flare, which is very nice. I'm going to see if I can farm down the rest of this Veltal here. We're going to use our last shield and basically hold on to the last amount of energy we have left here. And basically we're going to try to take out this Dialga with the I forgot what they call it, the Ice Burn. The Ice Burn, tried to take it out with the Ice Burn, but I forgot they end up still having one more shield left and end up KOing me here. Regardless, they still had another Pokemon in the back, so I still would have ended up getting KO'd regardless. But anyway, we ended up losing that match. And another match, of course, one person ended up quitting, which is very unfortunate. Obviously, I wanted to showcase that game as well. But anyways, we ended up getting a 4 out of 5. Well, yeah, 4 out of 5 game here, which wasn't bad at all. And yeah, that was actually a pretty fun team to run. But anyway, let me know what you guys think of the team down below in the comments section. Yeah, Kyurem White is just such a super strong Pokemon. With the Ice Fang, it just does so much freaking damage. It just shreds through Rhyperior, shreds through other dragon types. Just such a strong move, especially with this charge move connections as well. It's just what can I say? It's just amazing. I'm going to be showcasing Kyurem Black here tomorrow, which is going to be also like one of my favorite Pokemons. Of course, I have the Shundo. Can't wait to show that off. Yeah, but yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, definitely leave me a like, subscribe to the channel as it helps the channel grow. And yeah, I guess I'll catch you guys in the next one. All right, peace out.